All right, here is a quick overview of Honeybook, and I want to start out by saying I've used several CRMs at this point, customer relationship management softwares. So I've also used, and I still use, waveapps.com for my accounting software, which has the ability to create estimates and proposals, but no sort of nothing like this for Honeybook. Honeybook is a CRM tool that's really for taking in new leads, potential customers, and then being able to communicate with them directly via email, as well as send them a brochure of your services. That's an online brochure. Sending them a proposal, which would have a price and a contract, and you can send them a questionnaire. We're going to get into all of that, so we'll check this out. This is the home page or the dashboard, but I usually just start here in my projects view, and here are inquiries either that have come through my website lead capture form that Honeybook provides, or I've entered these in manually. Follow-up is, it automatically goes to a follow-up if you've sent someone any file from within Honeybook. Consults or consults, this is, for me, is I don't know, it's kind of a little holding pen, just slightly different than these other ones. All of these stages up here, by the way, are customizable. Proposal means I sent them an actual proposal that had an agreement attached to it, like ready to move forward, whereas follow-up means I just sent them a brochure of my services so they could see what I offer and get an idea of price. Contract, I don't even know why I have this as a stage. I should remove this because Honeybook contracts can't be signed unless, or at least when they're part of a proposal, they can't be signed unless there's a dollar transaction involved. So everyone I send a proposal to, it automatically drops them into retainer paid because they at least paid $1. Even on a free trial, I have to charge them $1. First design, for me, for doing websites or for doing video work, this might be the first draft. And then revisions means we've gotten past that first draft, they've given a lot of feedback, or they're starting to give feedback, and we're in the revision round. Planning, I think I should get rid of that stage for myself. That came default, if I remember. Final approval is what it is, self-explanatory, and then completed or archived. And then you can view everything from here if you want. It's very easy to add a new project. You just hit new project and you get started right away. So I'll just do that real quick. New project, give it a name, test project, give it a project type. All of these you can customize, and you want these to be the services that you provide, because this can actually show up as a field in a contract, which I'll show you momentarily. So you would want that to say exactly what you want. This is just kind of for your internal purposes to know where did this lead come from, and I think they might have some stats so that you could get a snapshot of where most of your leads are coming from if you don't know that already. And then if this is a project, if it's a lead for, say, a video 6 weeks from now, then that's pertinent information to put in here, and this will sync to your Google Calendar. And so you can see that on your phone and computer and everything in other places to just remember, oh yeah, I've got that potential project coming up, and you don't double book yourself. So for now, I'll just leave those alone. Don't have to have a project date. All right, and it's immediately going to ask for the email and phone number of this contact, which I'm going to just, I'll just put someone in here. All right. I've worked for my dad on a website, so that is his contact. Now, this view right here, what you have at the top, I like to change that image based on the type of the project. So here you need to really name this project because that name is going to show up on every file you create and send to the customer, and it might also show up in contracts in a custom field. So I might say website for, in this case it was this business. All right, and now since it's a website in this case, I'll leave this image as is. However, if it was a video project or SEO or content marketing or Facebook ads, I might change it to be a different image, and I've uploaded all these images myself. So you just go out on the internet and find the nice thing is this stuff doesn't show up publicly online, so you don't really have to worry about copyright issues. You can go find whatever photo you want off of Google Images that looks nice and upload it. It's only going to your customer. Okay, now we're on the project details page. That's where it puts you whenever you create a new project. You can add a project date if it's a multiple date scenario. You can do that. Budget and guest. This Honeybook as a platform seems to have started out for photographers and the wedding industry, and so budget and guest would be relevant to that, not really relevant for anything else. Okay, about the project, you can type whatever you want here, and then I've added these as custom fields because I want these to be utilized on the contracts as a custom field. And then private details, you add notes here. So I've actually done this wrong on several projects. I've put some pertinent info here from the customer, such as their current website details, like they're not running Google ads, they're not running Facebook ads, it's not mobile responsive, or things like that I put there. But technically that is going to be shared with the customer should they ever click a link in the communication email that drops them right into this portal. Let me switch over to activity, and this is where you can send an email to the customer or the lead straight away. Subject and message, that's a no-brainer. You can add your email signature. You can add, currently this is something I don't love, but the only custom field that you can use on the emails is the customer's first name. So that's a little disappointing because I'd like to write emails, especially if I'm doing a cold email outreach to a lead that I've entered in here manually. I want to be able to add in other custom fields such as the company's name or any custom field I want, such as the industry, things like that. Anyways, that's how that works. Type your message, thanks, Daniel. And then if you want to add your email signature, that comes right in. You can also add, if you're saying, hey, let's set up a time to talk, you can add a Calendly link. Apparently they only work with Calendly here. You can recommend other vendors. Again, this is really the wedding industry. This is lingering from the founding of this company and system. Insert links and that sort of thing. Now you can use templates. You can come up with a lot of email templates, and they do provide some for you. I'm going to delete that instead of sending it. Over on the right, you'll notice that this navigation or those tools stays there no matter which tab we're on over here. So let's look at those. This is the stage. Now again, this is that pipeline that we saw when we were over here in projects. Lead source, you can choose, this one's family, I'll do that. You can add custom, create new lead sources. Notes, again, this is really just, now this actually, okay, not visible to clients. So you can add notes here. Test note, okay, exit full screen. And let's just see if that note shows up down here. Okay, that's where that shows up. Time tracker, I haven't even used that on here. You can log time. So this is a manual thing. This is not, that's kind of cool. It's not counting up your time, like it's not a stopwatch. Tasks, I use this quite a bit. even though I use another platform for project tasks with my team, I use this for my own quick tasks on these projects, such as follow up and put a due date, like send a follow-up email or a follow-up phone call. And then workflows are one of the very cool things. So I'd say there's two, besides that pipeline tool, I'd say the two main reasons to use Honeybook are going to be the workflow and the files. And you can see here that the types of files you can send are thus proposal and invoice. What's the difference here? An invoice is for work you've already done. You don't need a contract to go with it, so you send an invoice. Whereas a proposal is going to have a contract with it. And I will show you those in a second. That's the contract. Brochure it's not a formal proposal. It's not a contract. It's really just like you're handing them a PDF or like a printed out brochure. Instead, it's online. So I'll show you that in a second. You can add into it your service pricing, but they don't move forward directly in this brochure file. It's just to get them some awareness. And then questionnaire, this is more like after you already have someone as your customer and you need specific, it's like a survey or a form that they will fill out and give you specific details. Timeline, I haven't really even been using this one. Once you start getting kind of busy, that's a little bit over the top or unnecessary, but you could do that. Let's just click it real quick to see what in the world it does. So you can just add timelines here. It's kind of weird to create a timeline though and send that manually or separate from any other file. So since I started to create that as a file, now in my Files tab, that's showing. And what's really cool about any of these files that you would start to create for a customer or send, they show up here in your Files area, and you get to see if it's a draft or sent, send file to client, and if they actually viewed it. I'm going to delete it. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to show you those. So I'm going to show you brochures and contracts and proposals, and then I'm going to show you lastly the workflow system, which is pretty cool. So let's look at not projects. If you hover over tools, you've got a lot of tool options here. I didn't realize that they have bookkeeping right there. I need to check that out. I guess that's just to track all of the transactions that people are paying you for, whether those are one-time or recurring fees. Contact form, by the way, that's where you set up your lead capture form and embed it on your website, or just use a Honeybook link so that people can fill in whatever pertinent details if they are considering engaging with you. Yeah, they do have a mobile app, which is their software, their development on all this stuff, their programming is just rock solid. So I'm going to go to templates. And this is honestly where the majority of your time will be spent when you're setting up, depending on how many services you offer. Man, you can spend a ton of time here, and you kind of need to, because if you invest the time and set up your packages, your contracts, you set up your brochures all up front out of the gate, then it's going to be very quick and easy to send a brochure, a proposal, or an invoice or a contract for every future customer. So let me show you what I mean. First thing I'm going to do is show you package. I kind of wish they showed all this in this order. So here is a package, and you can see there's no header up here. I'm not choosing an image. There's nothing except for this gray box where you can line out everything that's included with this particular package or service. So you can customize this however you want. You can add new items, new rows to that. I don't think you can break this out as a separate secondary package. So this is one package and its kind of sub products. Over here on the left, you can create as many packages as you want. So let's check out webmaster services or hosting for web design stuff. You know, Facebook ads. You know, like just so much. Whatever you do, you can create a package for it. Those are the first foundation you need before you're going to create a brochure or a proposal. The last or second and last foundational piece you need are these agreements. Honeybook comes with some template agreements, which I think we would see, like here's a Honeybook template. This is for signing off on a proof. Design service release. They have different stuff. Someone's calling me. So they've got these contracts. All right, so let me show you what I do. I go to Rocket Lawyer. I signed up for a $40 a month pro plan with them, and you can search for literally any type of contract that you want to start, and you choose your state, and these are going to be some legit contracts that you can use. And so what I do is I just go through their setup wizard on Rocket Lawyer for any particular type of contract, and once I've filled it all out, I bring it into Honeybook, and what I do in Honeybook, I paste it in here, and then I delete out certain things, like because Rocket Lawyer will make it specifically for a given customer. So let's say it's ICP is the name of the company. Well, I'll go through here and look for ICP, and wherever it is, I'll like select it and put in a custom field from Honeybook. So I'd say the company name, like that. So I'm not going to do that right now, but Rocket Lawyer is like really struggling to work with me. But you can see like these are all the fields that Rocket Lawyer is going to fill out for you as you go through their progress. And then you just copy the text when it's done and paste it into a Honeybook area. So you can see why this gets really time consuming, especially if your business has multiple services. So like for me, I needed a video production and editing contract, a web design contract, I need a content marketing contract, advertising agreement. So I needed at least 4. I might need one more still. So those are the 4 that I've really worked on. And now I want to show you where contracts and packages come together. That would be in sending a proposal. Gosh, I'm getting calls left and right here. So here is a content marketing proposal I just set up. This is showing 2 packages, 1 for the first month, 2 is the second month, and a grand total right now at 0. But let's just say I change that to $500 a month. Now your grand total is $500, and I've got this set as a recurring monthly cost. And then it shows the contract, and I have my contract templates here. So I selected this one. And then that's all in there. What's really cool is the package right there, and the pricing right here is actually gets embedded dynamically into any contract. And so here are the payment terms, and here are the services that I will be providing for that payment. That comes from these fields up here. So this can get really robust, but it becomes just the bread and butter of sending out proposals and actually having contracts. So this is a different contract. This one's for advertising. And on this one, I ended up putting the services up there. And how about the payment terms? That would be needing to be in here somewhere. Oh, okay, we did it slightly different up here with custom fields. So this is, we're looking at proposals. And then I will show you an invoice. Like I said, that's for work you've already done as opposed to proposing. And so on a invoice, you don't send an agreement. It just sends the package. All right, I'm going to show you a questionnaire real quick. This is super easy. These are custom questions, and it leaves a field for them to fill out. when you send them this. And the last one I'll show you is a brochure. Brochure, again, think about if you were going to send them a PDF that was about your services, or if you were going to print out a trifold brochure and hand deliver it or mail it. That's the idea of Honeybook's brochures, is that it's a digital brochure, and they will receive it as a button to click rather than a PDF attachment. And here's what's cool. You can have these different sections, so this is a menu, so that the customer will quickly get to jump to these sections. And you can add pictures, you can add to any section certain content, even questions if you wanted to ask them. I haven't even done that in a brochure. That's a cool idea. And then if you wanted to add your services, this is where you have to have packages already set up under the package template. And then you can just say, all right, I'm going to add this one. Content marketing, first month. There it is as a ready to go template. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete what I just added there. But you can see images that you want to add. If you wanted to add an image to a section, you just click add and do a cover image or text on image. So I want them to add the ability to embed a video, which would be really helpful, but they don't have that feature yet. And so here are the brochures I've made. So you can see how much time this takes to set up from the start, because you need to have a packages set up, you need to have agreements set up before you can send proposals. And you want to have packages set up before you create brochures, and then the brochures themselves take a while because you've got to describe all your services. Now if you already have this stuff created on PDFs or like a printout, then Honeybook, when you sign up with Honeybook, they provide a concierge service where they'll take all your PDFs or design files that have your services, and they'll set up all this stuff for you. I didn't have that, so I had to do this manually. Let's look at email real quick, because you can set up as many email templates as you want. And so what I've done is like, for example, Facebook ads trial, cold email outreach, and then an 8-day follow-up, a 16-day follow-up, and a 24-day follow-up. And that, I'm showing you that, also the email signature, which I already have. That comes into play, all those email templates, on the workflow. So let's check out, let's make a new workflow. Let's do this. We are going to send a brochure. Let's see. When we activate the workflow, we're going to send a brochure. You can choose any brochure, and then we need to send an email with it. So let's just say, this is what I've done for my Facebook ads campaign. I'm going to send out the initial outreach email. This would actually be the Facebook ads trial brochure, and the approval will be send automatically or approve. So I might want to modify the email. Now, I wish they would let me know, but this approval, you're not going to be able to edit this brochure for this outreach email, but you will be able to edit or customize this email. All right, then I'm going to add a task, which can be anything I want. And so I could say, friend this lead on Facebook, and we're going to do the same thing on friend or follow on Instagram. Follow this lead on Instagram, right? So now I've got 3 tasks happening 0 days upon activating the workflow. And then what I do is I'll send a follow-up email however many days you want afterwards. I'm going to do 8 days after activating the workflow. You could also do this after the previous step is complete, but I'm going to go with after activating, and I'm going to make this my 8-day cold email follow-up. And I'm going to approve it before sending, and again that allows me to customize this email before it is sent. And so you could just go through and do several things. You could also do a brochure or like a questionnaire. This is more appropriate if you're creating a workflow for when a customer signs on with you. Then obviously you need a workflow that's creating tasks for yourself, and you might need to send a questionnaire, such as if it's a video shoot, okay, we need to know everything about that video shoot. Or if it's a website, we need your website login, we need your logo and all of that stuff. So that's the idea here, and you can delete those, you can move them around as well. And then you just hit save and you're on your way. I'm going to leave this without saving it. New inquiry branding. I'm going to delete these workflows because I never use them. Post-project workflow. I might want to look at that and see what they do. Send the client a gift. That's cool. Or a postcard. You know, like send them something. Happiness survey. That's a good idea. Questionnaire, follow-up, request for a test. These are really good ideas. So this is by Honeybook, and I'm going to keep that one. All right, so that is a very long video, but I hope this really shows you everything you really need to know about Honeybook and see how it helps your business. Feel free to ask any questions, and I think you'll be off to the races.